Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
shit,
I
we're
want to do team solo. Oh, we're live. Oh, hi. Okay. Has the pro draft started? Okay. Well, here we are live with BTL season 9, week 1, day 2, Predictive Gaming versus Team Solo Chill. Here we are with the first night of our Saturday 2 special. I think later today we have, you know what? I started that sentence thinking I knew who played next. Dirt Team versus Dinosaur Club. JK, I do know. For right now, we got these two, and the pro draft has started. Okay, there we go. Predictive Gaming starting out with the Morgana band. I wonder who
if they're going for Hook City.
Yeah, maybe. I haven't had a chance to look at the full.
Not bad this early in because Morgana is honestly like she's not a bad character, but she's kind of stuck in the middle, and I feel a lot of people would agree with me on that. And Morgana used to be seen as like this traditional, oh, I see a hooker, so I'm going to pick Morgana counter pick champion. But now there's like better options to pick besides Morgana. So maybe on the side of band team, there's just a really good Morgana player, and Predictive Gaming has word on that, so they'd rather just get rid of it.
Yeah, I think playing support for them. I think it's Native Daddy. I have a million tabs open. I'll update that in a second. It is. All right.
So this is kind of like the kind of go-to advantages of red side versus blue side that we're seeing in the bans. When you're kind of on red side, you have no choice but to ban all the OP characters first, because blue side basically says, yo, I got dibs. But then blue side has the luxury of saying, so we're just going to target ban your favorite champions since you're going to ban all the OP characters for us. So just kind of the bane of blue side's existence when it comes to the ban phase. But
I always thought
there's more than
interesting
one
thing about
good character, so they go great.
I always thought the interesting thing about red team though is like you can generally like leave open like some OPs. Like if you leave open like multiple OP champions or like champions that you want to get, then you like force blue team into a decision where you can end up even getting 2 or even changing up their ban like plan in general. So I always thought like as red team, there's like a lot of nuance that can be had there, especially with like last pick. From what I can tell, I'm assuming that blue team probably wants to go. I would assume like either a poke comp or like a front to back fighter, because they were definitely making sure not to get like caught out with like the Morgana binds, and also like trying to prevent the heavy engage of like Galio and Ashe. Those could be targeted bans, but generally that goes to show that they definitely don't want to be engaged on. So it's really interesting to see what their actual game plan is. Graves doesn't really tell much, but it looks like Team Solo Chill is actually going for it.
Pretty standard meta stuff. Ezreal is still one of the best ADCs in the game right now, despite the E-nerfs. Karma, a terrifying support that if your team is well-rounded, you can flex it between multiple lanes, mid, top, support. even ADC if you felt like doing it. But we see Ezreal ADC, so highly doubt this is gonna be a Karma ADC.
See,
Or even
there's the
maybe
hooker. Oh,
Hecarim.
no, the hooker not coming in. Hecarim top, maybe?
Oh, this is interesting. Oh, okay.
I thought they would reveal the Hecarim this early when they already revealed that the Graves pick is on hand. And I highly doubt this is going to be a Graves mid. Since not many people picked up that hype train. So they're kind of
To
saying
be
that
fair
this is
though, the Graves mid has been like I've been playing in Diamond Elo a lot, like lately. Once I got back into it, and Graves mid I've seen so often there. I doubt it's going to be played because, like you said, it's not played often. But I honestly think it's a good pick, and it beats matchups that like honestly I'm surprised.
Oh, I love
I-
Graves mid. I was really surprised that the hype didn't pick up even further. But, you know, kind of hard to teach people new things. They like what they like.
Yeah, I've seen Graves mid actually being a great pick into, like, for example, Zed or other interesting things. Right now, I think I really like Team Solo Chill's comp so far because I'm still not really sure what Predictive Gaming is going for at the moment.
Mm.
I will say the mid laner for Predictive Gaming is Jaw. If you remember Jaw from the previous 2 BTL seasons, the Diamond 1 ADC, he was in one of the best ADCs in BTL for the past couple of seasons. Now he has moved to the mid lane, while one of the other best ADCs of the BTL past Frostbite last year from Team Ishtar is going bot lane with his boy Sincere support. So it'd be interesting. Maybe Jaw has a little bit of a different mid lane champion pool than most. So I could totally see Jaw doing something like Graves mid, kind of that marksman, AD, attack damage type of carry. In the mid lane, I could totally see Jaw pulling something like that off. It seems like that would be within an ADC's repertoire, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I definitely do agree though that the
Fate.
the early Heck pick is kind of interesting though because it's not like beforehand when we had like Keen obviously running him often in the mid lane or whatever. So like the flexibility of Hecarim isn't as great as it used to be.
Remember the old days where we still had home guards at 800 gold, and you could take Hecarim mid lane and you rush home guard buff, and you just get back to mid lane in just a couple of seconds. It's like you were never even gone. You just press C and you're there.
I just like you would run that with Ignite and Teleport, and you just TP bot lane every like time it's up when it's on the lower cooldown, and just get free dubs all day. It's good
You
stuff.
guys talk about the old days, man. That is so long ago. When was home guard removed?
We
That's
got
some
some
ancient.
ancients. We got some old
Too
men.
long
Yeah, that's some boomers. That's crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
of course, so am I. I remember those days, but geez, that's some ancient times.
Hecarim could go mid lane because you could just rush by home guards.
Like,
Hey, thank you for the follow, by the way. IO Renis. Thank you for the follow.
I'm curious about the R5 for Team Solo Chill because like I was liking their team comp, but now it's starting to really look a little bit too AP heavy. Where see champions like Scion are going to make it look really good, and this also does make me think it might actually be a Graves mid because Scion will do really well into that team comp.
I would love for it to be Graves mid because I've been hyping it to all my friends. I've been hyping it to every single Discord server I know, and everybody has been doubters. So if Predictive came in, wait, no, please, come on, no, don't kill my mood like that. Don't kill my vibes.
I'm cool with the Graves bot with Manamune. Let's go.
No, it's all about crit ADC Graves bot, and that is something I actually do have my match history. Because fun fact. I promise you no Graves build does more than the full crit build, but I promise it's just too damn expensive for junglers to go into.
Dude, I've just seen like full Graves go like armor pin. It's been just so painful. So it's curious if he's going to go like the armor pin build, which is what I kind of expect. But I'm happy to see like Team Solo Chill actually pick up an AD threat because their team was super AP heavy. Even though early on I was definitely favoring the Team Solo Chill's team comp, I think Predictive Gaming actually has like an easier to execute team comp in the way of just go in and pick someone off. They definitely have like a lot of avenues to do that. So it really depends on the mechanics of Team Solo Chill to make sure that doesn't happen by either abusing a Pantheon E, Vlad Pool, like Elise Repel, stuff like that.
I was actually really digging Team Solo for a while in their draft, but then I was kind of turned off a bit by the Elise pick because it just feels off aim with Karma and the Ezreal. and then they finalized it with Pantheon. So you have these two characters who are really balls to the walls in the early game and really want to make things happen around the first few minutes of the game. Pantheon wants to just be oppressive with his W. Elise wants to just try to get those level 3 ganks to work. But at the same time, you have Vladimir who just wants to scale. Ezreal really wants to play safe, and they're not really these hard brawling type characters in team fights. So the Pantheon at least feels a little bit off theme. While Predictive Gaming, they have a big core theme in their comp, and it's we want to fight you, we want to brawl, we have a little bit of scaling, but we're all about those mid-game team fights, and we're just gonna run you over with Hecarim boobs and Scion trampoline.
I think it really just depends. I'm assuming that obviously the Pantheon is going mid. So it looks like Elise and Pantheon are probably going to be roaming together often to try to create like a lot of early pressure to try to get their side lanes going. I could definitely see this leading into early dragon control and being extremely snowbally if they get ahead. But I think the second they get behind, like with the comp that Predictive Gaming has, it's going to be like really hard to come back, considering that two of the champions are basically going to be relegated as to a stun bot, especially with the sheer amount of AP that is coming out of that team. It's going to make sure that Elise's damage and even like Karma's like little bit of poke here and there is definitely going to taper off when people are starting to itemize against Vladimir.
Am I going cray or I hear your voice?
You're scared. Good to know.
Aren't we all going cray cray?
It's a ghost. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'm just going cray. I'm so sorry.
Because I have a feeling that the reason that they decided to draft the Vladimir top was basically like the late game insurance policy of like the extremely volatile nature of the jungle mid. But like the thing is that LeBlanc definitely is harder to like snowball on in general just because of the safety of her kit. But Hecarim can definitely be abused, especially if there's constant invades by like the Pantheon and Elise. If they have like good timings and are able to like abuse the vision control, I could definitely see the early game going the way of Team Solo Chill. But the later it goes, the more that predictive gaming is just going to be able to like stall out and win the game through like just run at your face style of play.
So adding on to those points, I actually wonder if this is gonna be like a split pushing Vladimir build where his first item is gonna be stuff like Death Cap into Spellbinder. That's actually a really popular build for like the split pushing type Vladimirs. And I feel that would actually be really effective with all the beef you'll be facing this game. I personally feel if he goes for the really popular CDR build, where you just go to CDR runes, you rush basically every 10% CDR item in the game, so that we are at 45% CDR very early into the game, I feel he's really going to be lacking in the damage department against these really beefy frontliners like Scion and Hecarim. But
see, that's exactly why I think it's going to be hard for him to actually split push, is because like at some point, like you got to think about like how easy it is for like Scion to itemize this game. Like Scion can basically build whatever beefy frontline items he wants, throw on some Merc Treads and like an Abyssal Mask or like a Spirit Visage. Like he can literally build kind of whatever items he wants this game. And then like it's gonna be so hard for Vladimir to even like push past him. And then having like the LeBlanc or the Scion answer the split push to Vladimir, I think it's gonna really prevent him from being able to actually like get a true good split push off, especially like with the way his items build. I think that Vladimir's probably gonna end up having to commit to more fights than like he normally would have to. Like I think he's got less options this game.
Oh yeah,
I think this game definitely
hints
hinges on
a more damage-oriented build in the CDR build, because I feel if he goes to the CDR build, he's sort of.
Okay, let's check out those team bios here. So we do have some bios that were prepared for these two different teams. So I'm getting to the end of this one. I'm going to go ahead and read the bio that we had prepared for Team Solo Chill. There we see on the right side of the screen. Yeah, they're the red side team. So here we go. Prepping to overwhelm you with the power of sheer vibes and making a comeback to BTL in Season 9 is Team Solo Chill. Having gotten to know each other through Clash and previous leagues, they are back this season to test their mettle against BTL teams once again. TSC is made up of Valte, top, Plat 2, Wannafly High Jungle, D4, JC Mid at D4, Blakey Sky ADC at G2, and I still not Natividaddy? Is that what it's supposed to be? Yeah, Natividaddy support at Platinum 3. All right. In addition to being so chill, you would probably need to turn the heater on. TSC holds their strengths in a healthy mix of laning and objective control. Team Solo Chill's goals for this season. The team goals, according to JC, are beep beep, F bitches. Oh wait, I didn't beat bitches. Oh well, too bad. Get money and kill Expo. But on the whole, they want to keep their eyes on the prize and win the season. Anyone want to do the predictive gaming bio? I think I posted it here.
Did you?
Yeah, I posted it in the caster chat.
All right, let's see. Gazing into the future and seeing prophecies of conquest. Predictive Gaming has seen Season 9 of BTL coming from miles away. A pristine team made of veteran free agents and members of the Predictive Gaming organization, the Season 6 champs are back and looking forward to the future. Predictive Gaming is composed of Brote, who is the starting top. There's GLV Sly, which is the starting starting jungle. There's Jaw, who's the starting mid. Frostbite, who's the starting ADC. And Sincere Support, which is obviously starting in the support role. So let's see. Despite being a veteran organization, the players are all coming together for the first time, and their strength and individual talent is a solid groundwork to develop a playstyle and synergy. Their goals for this season is a mandate that may have echoed throughout history, but they say it with the authority of those who can see the future to win the damn thing.
To win the damn thing. I love it. I love
What
it.
what better way to like say you're gonna win the damn thing than just running a face like a team comp in the first game that just says I'm gonna run it down
Yeah.
all game long. Like the second our team hits 6, you better be careful because the second you hear like Scion yelling cowards, I
Yeah.
expect you to run away.
Yeah, I absolutely love the go win team comps. Also with the the Snow Day Graves on ADC, that's fantastic. That's definitely a go in or go home type of comp. PG wins this for sure. Really, you want to put money on that? Actually, maybe you already did put money on that. What's the bet? Oh, right
Yeah,
now
you
the
did
bets are
that.
100% to Predictive Gaming. No one has bet on Team Solo Chill, so that means if you bet on Team Solo Chill here, you get a lot of money if you win. I mean, TSC is not like I think they have a chance. JC on Pantheon, JC is a pretty sick Pantheon. Pantheon is low key JC's go-to 1v1 champion. I remember the 1v1 tournament that was said that if he's playing Pantheon, he's sweating. That's his try hard. Even though we all know, of course, it's a Twisted Fate one trick. That's why Twisted Fate was banned in the draft. But and he's going up against a LeBlanc. That LeBlanc is Jaw. Jaw we know is a very good player, so we'll see how Jaw does in the mid lane. Haven't seen too much of mid lane Jaw outside of in-houses. And he does really well in those in-houses, as you would expect someone of his elo to do.
Here's a new word I have for Red Side's comp. Now that I look at it a second time, whenever you pick Pantheon mid lane, this screams one major thing in drafts. We want to camp the hell out of mid. But here's the problem. They picked a LeBlanc, and I don't know about you, but when I'm playing jungle, no matter what elo it's in, when I see LeBlanc, I just kind of look at my mid laner with a very awkward smile and say,
Good luck.
sorry, I can't gank that. She has 3 flashes.
To be fair though, especially into like a melee matchup, even though she does have multiple flashes, like pre-6. Oh, are these guys running like head first into each other level 1?
Baby.
Both teams caught out with their very interesting level 1 plan.
An awkward moment when you both have the exact same idea, and this kind of reminds me of the good old Spider-Man where the two Spider-Mans just point at each other meme.
Oh yeah,
that was basically like the first minute of this game summed up in one go. Oh, are they just going for it? Oh, they are. That Thresh is caught out. Okay, I'm fine with the first blood going to Ezreal, but an early longsword on the Pantheon would have been really nice.
Yeah, but it does allow him to spike faster to his tier of his goddess. One of the bummers about playing Ezreal is you can't really do cheater recalls just because most of the time you're saying, no, I'm not recalling until I can get that tier. So this actually allows Ezreal to open up in how he can control the wave in the early game by quite a lot.
I'm concerned a little bit. Like personally, like I guess I'm a little greedy with my runes, and I always try to optimize for certain things. I'm assuming Conquerors, even though it takes a while to stack, up to 12, is probably still really good on Pantheon mid. But especially like with an early game pressure or an early game focus, like I personally would have liked to see press the attack because I think press the attack is still like really good for like winning lane. Because like right there, he would have already proc pressed the attack, and that would have been like a bonus, like 70 damage level 1.
I think it's more of like the return value out of it in team fights, and that's still a person that makes me value it quite a lot. Is press the attack, you can just use onto only one person, that's all you're gonna get out of it. But in like a team fight, when you take Conqueror, you get just maximum value out of it over every single target that's in that fight.
But that's if you're able to stack it. And like honestly, especially late game team fights against like a Scion and a Hecarim, a Thresh with like a fully stacked, like see like right there, the press the attack trades I think would be going more heavily in his favor. So I kind of would have liked to see that kind of optimization. Even if like late game, like the Conqueror is better, I just think you don't play
Is that
Pantheon
a
for the
game
late
we
game.
just unfortunately missed in the mid lane? Looks like it.
Yes. Hecarim with the quick level 3 after taking the bot side clear. I definitely like doing that because people wouldn't. People generally try to like do like the cheater ward type thing where the Hecarim started bot side, so you kind of hover towards the bottom side because you expect him to obviously go for like red into like Raptors, Wolves, and then blue, and then go for like a topside gank. But because he was closer to the bot side, I believe, like Hecarim was able to get like an unexpected gank, which actually is surprising because I do see a deep ward that seems behind the red pit. So it's kind of actually surprising the gank was as effective as it was.
Not gonna lie, I'm kind of judging Graves' skin choice because I don't know about you, but I'm in Vegas. It's about 110 something here almost every fucking day right now. And it just kind of reminds me when you get those girls who wear the snow boots in the middle of like spring or summer. It's just, come on, we're in summertime.
Where's Pool Party Graves?
Yeah, that would be more fitting right now.
See, I do love Pool Party
hello,
Graves, but
Pixel. I
like,
don't think you've talked since you've joined.
Hi.
I'm definitely partial to Mafia Graves, but that comes from the Boomer Graves that I used to love playing and the old beanbag sound.
Chain sound. Yes, I miss that sound so much.
Looks like a good old jungle hover happening here. I really do like Hecarim's game plan so far because he knows that like ganking the Vladimir is not really going to happen, and then bot lane, unless there's a really good setup from the Thresh, there's also not going to be too much happening early game in that lane as well. So just hovering mid and constantly exerting pressure on the Pantheon and like almost negating the pick is actually like a really good strategy for him to have.
Let's talk about this Graves ADC pick. So when you take Graves in the ADC, when it comes to itemization, the world is your oyster, basically. There is the full crit build where you can just crit somebody in the face and they're just gone. There's the lethality build where it's super effective against squishy. Got the Black Cleaver for peeling off tanks type build. And then you also have the really popular build you see in mid lane more often where you just go full lifesteal and you basically become an unkillable raid boss. But what do we expect Graves to go for in this game?
I'm not sure. From what I'm going to go ahead and guess is that I could foresee. Kind of got a little distracted and seeing if there's going to be a little bit more mid action happening there. I see him going on Elise now, but still not really too much because both teams kind of like really like lack the damage and the full like use of their kit to fully get a kill here. I do think. I would just assume he's going to go to the Manamune build just because for some reason in every single one of my games, every AD carry ever is building Manamune. And I understand it got buffed and it's really good, especially on mana hungry AD carries, but still, at least definitely not in a good position here. But yeah, so far I'm really liking the way PG's game plan is going because it's really just kind of farm it up, push really hard on mid and top because both there's not really wave clear on either side, which just allows basically
the Hecarim really nice.
Yeah, Hecarim just basically can do whatever he wants with impunity because both of his lanes have like lane priority and are constantly pushing, which I like to see. And so all he has to do is basically like farm hard on one side of the map, gank mid, and then right after he ganks mid, he just farms the other side. And it really goes to a good game state for Hecarim because then he's allowed to build all the items like that he wants. He's able to get the farm he wants. And then Elise isn't able to do what she wants because like the thing that's very unfortunate for Elise is that the team is so dependent on her to get anything done. And like, cause like there's no real setup from like a Vladimir. You can just only hope he does enough damage. The best setup you can have from Karma is like she just runs at them, maybe hits a good mantra Q into like a W. But even then, like especially with Thresh's Lantern, Graves Kit in general, like it's really hard to get anything done, especially since he's running Exhaust in the bot lane. I think as this game goes on, I'm really liking PG's draft a lot more than Team Solo Chills.
And you just go into the new problem where you have just this team with all these beefy and kind of mobile people. And there's not a true tank killer on red side at all, outside of Ezreal once he gets full build of Blade of Rune Cane. But even then, that's more of like a poke type killing. It's not like fast access of Shred.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. This Scion is just going to have like the time of his life. He's just going to be sitting there just pressing whatever button he wants, maybe even spam dancing in the middle of a team fight just because he can.
And this also comes into a new problem where they picked Pantheon. Pantheon's like, yo, I want to get early game kills. I want ganks. It's free as hell. I press W, you press your E, but you just have it as a bug. And she just presses one button and she's just a mile away from you.
I think that's why I would have liked to see an adaptation from JC. Like, he definitely has a lot more experience on this pick. I don't think anything's going to happen to this. I really doubt Elise is going to get anything done. Yeah. Oh, here it goes. This is actually going to be a kill. Oh, never mind.
Oh, nice. I love to see this type of plays from Sion. Because something that I've always been really critical of Sion players when it comes to competitive or amateur is that Sion ult is a borderline global. And so all he has to do is leave his lane, walk, and press R. And you just don't really see that out of a lot of people. So it's really nice to see that he understands, yo, I'm Sion, I got a cool ass ult, let's actually use it.
Yeah, this actually has a lot of advantages for PG besides even just the kill there. Because Vladimir tried to match instead of trying to go for like plates or anything with his own TP. So that means by the time like the next dragon comes up, that Sion has a good chance of having like his teleport back up, which will allow him to either just run straight to the team fight or go back top.
Is she gonna land into the E? I don't think it's gonna go into anything particular late. They're gonna outright tower dive. Pantheon goes into W, snares him up with stun. Pantheon might actually go down here. Actually, no, his shield's just gonna block all the damage. He comes out just fine. Really well executed tower dive front of Pantheon. Sorry if I miscommented on anything. Had a little bit of lag there. Was a little bit on the annoying side. But hey, we're good. We got through it. They're gonna try to go down to this Vladimir here, but he just makes it out easy breezy, completely fine.
So I got a question. I don't know if my eyes deceive me, which it could have just because of the skin. Did Elise like cocoon the dragon pit?
Honestly, I was gonna comment on that, but then my eyes got kind of weird on that exact same part too, and I was like, I'm just gonna skip talking about that.
Because I was just kind of confused. I was like, did I see a skill shot go that way? I wasn't sure.
I thought I was going
sure.
insane there.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going fully crazy. I know I'm already partially there, but that cocoon definitely went a little bit wide.
Oh, trust me.
That's what I like to see.
Actually, there, Solo Q will finish the job for you eventually.
I definitely feel that, man. This is kind of why, like, I understand getting this rated Dirk is like really important on Pantheon, especially when you're trying to like get like an early kill pressure. But I really think that a Tiamat here would have been better, just because like I think he is struggling to keep up, like to keep the lane pushing into the LeBlanc, which would I think help facilitate his roam.
And there's also gonna be no one who can really assassinate into the late game, anyways. Like Braves is quite literally the tankiest ADC in the game. Like, this rated Dirk is not really going to do much to Graves. And it's something I wish Pantheon players would be more willing to experiment with more tankier builds, so they can just basically become a pseudo-tank into the late game. But
yeah, it's actually funny, because like, I was...
He's actually going to kill here.
So it's a kill. Am I behind?
I'm curious if Pantheon's actually going to kill here with this rated Dirk in when the late game comes.
Honestly, I have no idea. I'm just looking. I can't really see anything. I could see him like matching the trades a little bit better with LeBlanc, but yeah, right now this mid jungle synergy is just like dictating the whole like case of the game.
And it's such irony too, because when you get Pantheon, literally the entire reason you're picking Pantheon is for mid jungle synergy, and they're just once again, ironically, getting the complete opposite of that. Like, that's really why you pick mid Pantheon. You want that big, solid mid-jungle synergy. You want this duo-jungler type playstyle. You want this camp-to-mid type playstyle. But just because the matchups are so skewed into blue side's favor, they're not getting what they pick for.
Yeah, I definitely do think that a lot of this game is basically just kind of almost lost in draft.
Mm-hmm. It was also weird too, because it was working so good. You will never get a single team in any competition complaining about succeeding to get Ezreal Karma. Two of the best bot lane characters in this game right now. Even the Vladimir could have kind of worked here, but it's just once again, the Elise Pantheon just so very offbeat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was talking about it earlier.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's the LB, right?
Yeah, the
See?
block. Yeah. Interesting.
Guys, I'm hearing voices in my head.
He's team solo chilling in the mid lane.
Nice dodge from JC there, though. Dodging that Cyan ult.
Ooh,
forgot
and
to
into the
just-
W for
just my-
Hecarim, into ditching his jungler. I
And he
love it.
dodged the rest of the ultimate.
Is this gonna be
though.
that triple kill here? Vladimir going, oh no, it's just a prank. It's
he-
a prank, man. I'm out. It's just a prank.
Phaser saves him here. That speed up.
See, I was gonna say, like, you know, it was actually good that he ditched his jungler, but apparently, like, he felt bad and then decided to stay around and said, "No,
Yeah,
I'm still here with you."
He just turned
In
around and
spirit.
said,
I'm with you in spirit.
So that's what I like to see from my mid laner. I think a lot of this game also comes down to like how good Hecarim's pathing was. I
It
think
has
his
been
pathing this
very
whole game
effective
has
this
just been
game.
immaculate. Like I honestly don't think that there's anywhere like he shouldn't have gone that he did. Like at this point, he's just dictating the whole game, and he doesn't even have to like aggressively like invade or even aggressively ward. He can just sit there, you know, farm his jungle, wait until like Pantheon takes an aggressive W, and then he's just got another free kill in the mid lane. And like that's again the problem with the Elise pick is that like if the mid jungle isn't dictating anything, especially like with an Elise early, then like there's Elise can't really do anything.
He's really
late.
just going to be nothing more than a stun bot in the next couple minutes. In fact, he probably already is a stun bot and nothing more.
yeah, Elise is more of an early game champ that to get your allies ahead, but Wanna Fly High wasn't able to do that. He didn't have
I'm not-
anywhere to specifically gank.
I'm not gonna lie. See that's another problem I had with the draft too. Is like you take an Elise, but then you have like no real setups in any of your other lanes besides
Mhm.
mid, and then it's against a LeBlanc who like is already one of the notoriously like harder champions to even gank in
Damn.
first place.
Like I said,
Ooh.
it's a game. Like
That
whenever
is-
I see LeBlanc, I like
that
playing
is
jungle,
rough.
and I'm just like, I'm sorry, my man in the mid lane, I can't gank that. I'm going bot lane. I'm going top lane, actual gankable lanes. But here's the new problem: both top and bot are also not very gankable lanes because Vladimir is just an AFK farm bot, and Ezreal is nothing but just let me hit late game bot that offers no real damage or presence in the lane phase. But please, Uzi, do not come into caster booth and slap me silly for saying that. Because I'm saying this, but yesterday Uzi said, no, Ezreal is an early game champion. Don't know if you catch those
I mean,
games,
the way that Uzi was playing, with
If
the
you do
Ezreal,
land all,
he was doing a lot of damage in lane. But Uzi was also smurfing on
Just
kids.
say
so,
any
I mean,
champion's an early game champion to Uzi.
Uzi's Diamond, I believe.
Diamond one?
No,
where's
I'm
Graves?
not
Where's Graves
sure.
right now? Is he top?
Right,
He just
diamonds are
he
low.
burnt his flash.
Yeah,
for
no,
reason.
NA Uzi's Diamond one.
Yeah. He's a really good ADC from what I've seen. Even his Clash games I was checking out. There's not a game he hasn't carried for his team.
Yeah, he showed us all that yesterday.
Oh no, Vladimir gets hit by the hook, goes in for the play. They try to go for this tower dive here, but Graves kind of flubs it a little bit. They see that Vladimir casts out the ultimate. You know what, we're just gonna wait this out. It was just a prank, Vladimir. We'll come back later.
Okay, one thing I thought was funny too is when they were heading up to top lane, I totally saw Graves flash in place. I do want to point that out.
So.
Misclick?
It's what you like to see. He could have been typing something in chat. You know, I've seen that happen. That happens in my solo queue game almost like, you know, all the time.
Just sort of irony. San shouts cowards when he ults, but most of the
He's
time
running away.
Players kind of
Running
ult away.
Coward!
Well, I mean, like, you know, contextually you can see it, right?
There's four
Cowards. It's
people.
4v1, yeah. You
Except you
need 4 people to
cowards.
gank me, cowards, and then he runs away. He's not even retreating. He's like strategically advancing in the opposite
No
direction.
CC feels bad.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
this is gonna be
God.
a split dragon
just rough.
at red side gets out of the game. But here's one problem. It's a blue side dragon at 17 minutes, and I don't know about you, but blue side dragon at 17 minutes isn't quite the most useful. And since they only have one dragon, I doubt they're going to be able to stack this to 4. But they're going to try to get flanked from behind. Hecarim and the rest of his teammates see it, so they just simply dodge to the left. But it looks like Red Side's going to keep on pursuing this. Wait, are they going to counter engage this with a death push? Fresh one's the hook. Hecarim goes in with the ultimate. Multiple people dying cross platform. They're going to chase this down. Fresh Q going to be a whiff, but looks like it's going to slow down here. And I think they're just going to reset. Yeah, it's going to be a reset. Kind of interesting how that plays out, where it looks like it's getting really bad for blue side, but then they decide, ooh, did LeBlanc just find something right here? Okay, she's just gonna WA. Oh no, it's too late for her to WA. She's still gonna get taken out here by the Ezreal.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
Lakey Sky. Lakey Sky, I think the lowest elo in the probably on the team or in the game right now. But you know, don't mess with that man in TFT. That man's a god in TFT.
What is his on TFT? What is it? Let me hear it.
He's high diamond. He's trying to.
Whenever he won our TFT tournament, and he was Diamond 1 at the time. Whenever he won that.
Ooh.
Wow, TFT god over there.
Apparently, an Ezreal god as well.
Well, he obviously just watched the stream yesterday and was taking notes on an A to Z.
Yeah, yes. You know, any good
it really helped his
player
gameplay.
to really learn. Yeah.
It was just next level advice. He took Goosey to the DM and was like, "Yeah, what do I do here?" Oh no, is Sion actually able to just walk at Pantheon? He is.
Yeah.
Just walk on Pantheon.
Sion can literally walk at
He's
every single
watching
champion
Magus.
against him this game.
All he has is a change vest, and he's just able to walk to Pantheon and say, "You and everything in your life doesn't matter.
You know,
Your lethality doesn't matter."
I do know that Team Solo Chill needs more damage this game, but I still really disagree with the Triforce rush. I think it should have just been Iceborne Gauntlet. The team's already like farther behind. You need the cheaper buy, and not only that, but it's it's effective into Sion, Graves, and Hecarim, as well as just being able to like potentially like kite more. I think that would have been an optimization that should have been done personally. Especially because I think that he's going to need the Blade of the Ruined King and the Armor Pin way more than he would need the benefits that Triforce gives.
One thing that Blue Side's been doing pretty well this game is not only do they get leads, but they make sure to find out where the weak spot is on the map and actually siege. Go for these dives. They're actually turning their leads into objectives, which is something really. As I say that, Sion just gets blown up by the karma.
Welcome to your caster curse, because Graves just decided to say hello. I'm going to eat this. And, see, that's why I do like the synergy. Oh my god.
And reply instantly back. Sion goes in with the ultimate. He's going to Canada. Sion is going to Canada.
I think just early game comps are going to Canada right now.
Sion is like, I'm going to ult and help my team, and then he just went basically to the other side of the map and went, you know what, Canada's looking good this time of the year.
So this might be wrong from like my perspective, but generally like when I'm an Elise and my team's like this far behind, and I like kind of relegate myself to the ult bot thing, I would generally go, instead of for like the what I assume is still probably the W max, since I see a Fiendish Codex, is I would have went for the E max into like a CDR almost like pseudo off tank build, because I think at this point, like, you don't really offer like much more besides just trying to get like as many picks onto, for example, like Graves, or maybe like LeBlanc does an unfortunate distortion into like a Pantheon W. I think at this point, like going for more damage, even if it ends up being a Banshee's Veil, which is what I assume it's going for, either or a Zonia's. I don't think that helps as much as going for like the full CDR. Like, for example, I would go into either like an Abyssal Mask or like a Frozen Heart, like some like random like cheaper items that can like help stem the bleeding a little bit, because sometimes like there's just not much you can do against Predictive Gaming's team comp late anyway. So I feel like staying alive longer.
What I would do here, if I was on the side of red side, is you invested into this Elise and to this Pantheon to the point where you're in the situation right now, but you might as well get your money's worth. I feel the go-to plan here is just clear out vision and just try your best to make death bushes and just catch out anyone who is off guard. And speaking of death bushes, blue team decided to take the advice I gave red team and do it for themselves.
Oh, this is going to be a great team fight for Predictive Gaming.
Predictive Gaming was like, so Phantom, I like that advice. I know you gave it to Red Side, but we're just gonna do it ourselves. Is that fine? And I'm just like, you know what? It's fine. Make the games a little bit shorter, make my life easier.
There's nothing worse than being Vladimir teleporting in and the whole enemy team goes in 4 different directions before you can ult.
Yeah.
God, they're trying so hard to bring some of this back.
This is just desperation. This is unorganized, raw desperation. And LeBlanc is saying, I am Civ HD, and I'm just gonna give you the loopy loops.
To be fair though, like there's not much else to do besides like desperation and like, oh my, this is not even Vladimir can get out of this one. Oh, is that the Pantheon tilt ult?
Oh,
JC? Come on!
I feel like he's been running it down this whole game.
Oh, JC?
oh no.
Just a little.
Hey, he got out.
See, no, see, this is a deep solo queue strat that I've seen happen often. It's when the enemy team gets so far ahead, you have to commit to the Fiesta because the only way you're gonna come back into the game is to get the enemy team to be like, true. Oh, it's Fiesta time, and then all of a sudden they start dying by either diving too far or just snipe. You said Ezreal's low ranked, right? What's going on?
Hey, dude, I said he's a tactic god, all right? This man's got the team fight tactics.
Also, Defiance, were you speaking out of personal trauma? You can be honest with us.
Every time I speak about my solo queue experience, it's all personal trauma. Like, I swear in solo queue, I would rather be behind early, than ahead early. Because if I'm ahead early, my team, once it commits to the Fiesta because they're ahead and feeling a little cocky, the mental boom is so real. It's so real.
You know who's really happy with League of Legends? Or you know who actually loves League of Legends? Ferris. Like how much money has the therapy industry made off League of Legends players?
Probably none, because I doubt anyone in my solo. I doubt any of my solo queue guys have actually anybody in solo queues actually went to therapy.
Yeah, they deal with their problem by just becoming more and more toxic.
You're right.
See, I think what's interesting is you say Ezreal gets to play like a lot of TFT and he's really good at it, but I think that Sion is so far ahead and so tanky that he's probably alt tabbing to play.
He's already a gold unit.
he's alt tabbing to play.
It's a gold unit right now.
Dude, this Ezreal with the snipes though. And mid and jungle do what they've done all game and have a very unfortunate engage.
Ooh. Wanna Fly High and JC, the mid jungle duo from CA Streamer last year.
Alright, so I'm gonna do my job and give you the play-by-play. So here's the play-by-play. They walk into a bush, they die. There's your play-by-play.
Incredible.
I'm dropping the mic.
You know, I have to admit though, I was saying that the mid jungle synergy was going to be very integral to this game on Team Solo Chill, and I still think I'm correct because I've seen their death timers more in sync than almost anything else I've seen in this game.
The mid jungle synergy is there. It's just not the way they want it to be.
It just means they're ready. They're like they're giving each other like, you know,
the
that
bromance.
The bromance for like next game. They're like, dude, next game, considering our synergy, like whatever we do, we know we're in it together. And
now I'm just thinking
that's all you can get out of games like that.
really cringy High School Musical song from Disney, so thank you for that.
No problem, man.
I thought I forgot that song, and here it is back in my head.
See, I still feel like I want to just criticize the Ezreal build. We're all in this together?
Yeah.
Oh, now it's in my head.
Oh god.
There you go.
Why you do it to defy? The problem is my brain memorizes music, so there's very key words and sentences I can't hear without being reminded of it.
See, for me, I'm a jungler, so it's like I need some kind of like anti-toxicity in my life, so I need to watch like Disney stuff to
I feel that, dude.
To like fill the balance. You know what I mean?
I'm just that one weird guy who watches scary movies at night. Sorry.
Is that weird? I feel like that's like when you watch scary movies.
I also watch it in afternoon, daytimes. I gotta say, Netflix is becoming boring because I think I watched basically every decent movie that's there. So now I'm just waiting for the next month timers to see what spawns. You,
So,
you
I
know your
understand-
life is reduced to a sad state when you saw just
Oof.
about every single good Netflix movie.
That LeBlanc damage is coming in hot.
Oh!
Wow, Cat in the house.
Hey, JC got out this time.
LeBlanc
not
gets to
a-
live. Vladimir is gonna ult into the majority of the team. Gets CC'd up, but no actual kill
Oh, I
comes through.
see signs for health.
Never mind.
Yeah,
I love
Sion-
I'm
Sion
just
can't
gonna
take any
finish off
damage.
with Flash Q.
This is why, like, I really would have liked to have seen like a different build from Ezreal, but I do definitely think that it doesn't matter at this point in time.
Something I wish people would take in consideration quite often is I've always been on the belief that Kale is actually back in the meta, but there's two types of picks in that I label champions in two categories when it comes to draft: global picks and information. Global picks are just champions that are all around good, and you can pick them just about whenever you want. And then information characters are things that are viable if you actually know what the enemy team is running. I feel that's where Kale kind of sits in the meta right now. And where I would pick her is I really love her as a top lane anti-tank mechanic. Because Kale basically has a free lane against most of the tank characters in this game, and then she'll just outsplit Pushno and out. So
What about
Well,
Vayne? What about like Vayne top? It sounds like the similar idea.
Vayne top comes with PTSD.
The
And
PTSD.
PTSD.
That's fair.
Every time I'm doing my topside camp at like, whatever like it is, like about 2 minutes in, like before a scuttle pops up when I'm on my third camp, I always scroll over to top lane and I just watch Vayne tumble straight into like Darius Q. Like it's just it happens so much. Like, do you really want it in your game if NA Uzi isn't your top laner?
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Every time I've played Vayne top lane, which is a few, I just get camped by the jungler and mental
This is
boom.
bullying! LeBlanc, stop it! This is bullying! Ito, I thought you had no bullying rules in the section of the rulebook.
Yeah, but you see, and if it's just your gameplay, then it's okay. Just don't.
This is bullying! This is not okay!
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
It's a bully server.
Just make sure you end the game. Don't BM. I mean, he hasn't BM'd. It's fine. He's just I mean, if we had no bullying rules,
let's be clear.
would we have let Expo play last season if we had no bullying rules? I mean, did you see what that
That's
man did?
This is true.
I expect Sion to drop his axe and spam dance a lot, and I haven't seen it yet, so I'm kind of disappointed.
Nothing is more satisfying to me than playing Lumberjack Scion and taking down towers. It's so satisfying to play Lumberjack Scion.
Man, that was a really rough game. From like
Look
the
at that
mid-jungle.
Graves damage. Let's look at the Graves damage. Apparently,
How was it?
he said
That's
that he
actually
wasn't.
pretty
He wasn't part of the
Yeah.
fight until 20
What really
minutes.
makes this kind of scary for the people who are cheering on red side is, in my opinion, not only did we see an outdraft, but we also just saw outright people being outplayed left and right. So they really, really cannot afford to mess up drafts going into game 2. They need to make sure when you're picking your next set of champions that it fits with the theme of the comp. Like, I remember that Defiance was talking a lot about poking possibilities and a lot of the anti-poke champions being banned out, but then that idea got completely thrown out the window for at least Pantheon. And honestly, I felt Defiance was making the right call there. There's a few other things you could have picked with it, but it really was rounding out to a decent poke comp, and that just was not there in the final 2 picks. So
I think even though it seemed like they were getting
it
like
has to be
outplayed
done.
like all over the map, I honestly think that like the big like the MVP of that game for me is like is Sly Red Fox, I think, right? He was the jungler, right? The Hecarim. Like the Hecarim, in my opinion, dictated the game like way more than anybody else that was in that game. Like the way he passed and the way he constantly abused JC was pretty much the definitive moment in that game. I don't think that JC technically like played it wrong. I would have liked to see like a Tiamat out of him, maybe like an earlier like Hex Drinker to try to like survive the lane and not pushing so hard with the fully stacked W. Like, I mean, he could have pushed hard with the Tiamat if he like pushed and left, but he was obviously like constantly fighting the LeBlanc and really wanted to take it to Jaw. I don't know if there's some kind of like rivalry there or something, but I would have liked to see him basically like ditch mid lane, like just basically wave clear, ditch mid lane, and then constantly roam with his jungler to make plays elsewhere. Because like while other lanes didn't really have the same type of kill pressure, like for Elise, like if Pantheon is just roaming with her, even if they were just like constantly roaming in the jungle, taking the fight to the Hecarim and making like LeBlanc respond to that, I think the 2v2 fights would have ended up a lot better in the favor of Team Solo Chill. But instead, like what ended up happening was the fact that like every fight begun with like a fully stacked Hecarim E from Fog. And like when that's going to happen, like the Hecarim side is always going to win when you've got LeBlanc chains from a distance, and you've got like two early game champions who don't really have like as much disengage as they could, besides maybe a repel and then a really like solid E, which won't do much against a Hecarim coming in behind you anyway. I think that was like the biggest problem for me was I didn't see like a hard like push by Pantheon into like leaving the lane, or even like I said, just trying to get like deep vision on the Hecarim so they constantly knew what side and they were tracking him better. Because if they were doing that, they could have they just would have had more control over the game, and like I could have seen maybe more of the benefits of their comp. But since they were kind of just running it like down mid into like a 2v2 like constantly, even when they were hoping it wasn't a 2v2, it just really allows Hecarim to like play the exact type of game Hecarim wanted to play.
I agree with one of the points, but there's two things that I would like to add to those points. Is I felt with the way Hecarim pathed and with all the, some people would argue that LeBlanc was going over aggressive, but I actually felt like it was calculated over aggression because she knows if Pantheon can get these roams, these lane pressures, then it'll be really beneficial for Red team. So I think it was more so leaning towards the idea that blue side simply didn't allow red team to get exactly what you were asking for. And I also give a lot of credit to Hecarim's really good early game, but another person I want to credit would be JC in the mid lane, because a lot of times you'll, as a jungle, you'll give a lot of pressure to specific laners, and you'll turn it into nothing. But then we go into like the later stages of mid game, and especially in late game, LeBlanc just had a unforgivable amount of pressure inside the enemy jungle, and it just got to the point where Elise was just being killed on spawn.
So you mean the respect given Jaw then, right? Because Jaw was the mid laner for Predictive.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the placements for everybody is here right now, and
yeah, they just swap sides.
Yeah,
I almost did the same thing. That's why, like, I was like, I had to correct myself preemptively.
Yeah,
So
like
I feel
Jaw
that. I feel that. I was all like,
unforgiving
on the blue
amount
side
of pressure into the enemy jungle, and that's really what you want to see out of your LeBlanc. So a lot of people would get fed on LeBlanc, and they just think of themselves as this kill ADC type character. But really, when you're playing assassins, it's so much more than that. It's take over the enemy jungle, take over these bushes, make sure that nowhere on the map feels safe, and that's Jaw just did a really superb job of doing that.
And that's why it's really impressive, because like even in the LCS, like people wanted to flame like the rest of, for example, like EG when like Jizuke got ahead. But like Jizuke, besides making like highlight reel plays, like you can obviously tell like there's a huge like disconnect in like what the team was trying to do or what they were doing. And then he would randomly go off on a split push. He would randomly go off on like a kill the AD carry journey. And even though he was playing like the LeBlanc mechanic game like superbly, you could just definitely tell there was a large disconnect in like the team. And then even Bjergsen, like on LeBlanc lately, like I still think he's playing kind of well, but he definitely doesn't push his lead as hard as he does, like as hard as other people would, like especially people like DoingB, like Knight. You know, those type of people will definitely push their LeBlanc lead, will constantly go like over aggressive. Meanwhile, it does, like Bjergsen's approach still does win games, obviously, as we've seen like with like the 100 Thieves game, but it's not like guaranteed to work against a bunch of teams. So it's like, even though obviously like the level of like competition is different, it's still good to see like a LeBlanc take the actual advantages when given, and then not try to just make it into like a like lane like split push game, and like you say, like try to truly dominate the map itself.
Kind of curious if we'll still see this big charge at you type playstyle from Jaw, Sly, Red Fox, and Bro. I'm also curious. It feels like there's a lack of identity coming out of JC's team, and I don't think one game is going to be enough time for them to really come back from this. Well, maybe it was just uncharacteristic, but it really felt like there was some disconnect, very concerning disconnect issues between the players and what they wanted in their team.
Well, see that's why like I know most people disagree with me because like a lot of people like have a certain banning strategy. They think a certain play style is better for them or matches up better against a certain team. But I think in games like that where everything just kind of goes horribly wrong, like I honestly think salt bans are actually way more worth it than people like to admit. I think purposely banning out the enemy and making them take it to you in a completely different play style, even if you don't think it normally matches what you would normally want to do or what you'd want them off of. I think like I would just definitely get their jungler off of Hecarim and I'd get Jaw off of LeBlanc and then make them play characters that are like more vulnerable, for example, to being ganked, and then also trying to find more synergy within like the team comp without kind of trying like two different things. Like especially because like I said before, like there was so much AP damage on Team Solo Chill's like comp, there was nothing that they were going to be able to do late game. And that's even with like Ezreal actually doing surprising amounts of damage and playing like probably as well as he could have. Again, like I would have liked to see some kind of build differences like there, more of like a tank busting. I definitely think with like how far ahead they were going and like with their comp, especially like Hecarim's W that was like underutilized, there should have been like an executioner somewhere. So I would like to see like honestly like a full on completely different draft from Team Solo Chill. I think like at this point, yeah, like just throw everything away and not in like a bad way, but I mean like it's week 1 anyway, right? So there's something they can completely develop in like next week regardless. So I think at this point you need to take that game too. You've only got that
to my players all the time is like when you get really hard smashed in game 1, you have 2 options. What do we have that can counter pick it? Well, like, how do we adapt? So we say, okay, they played a very aggressive run at you type play style, a lot of aggression coming out of jungle mid. What champions are in our current pool that we can fight back against that? And if you just have no answers for that play style that they ran at you with, then you just gotta say, you know what, get rid of it. I don't want to see it. Let's force them to make a new draft game. This just comes down. These are your only 2 options. Can we counter pick it in game 2? No? Okay, get rid of it. Looks like they're getting ready on draft here.
I see that we whoever created the lobby forgot to put a password on it. It's pretty funny. Some random came in and said, "All right, run it. Let's go." They were like, "Kick him." He was like, "No, I'm a sub. I swear."
Alright, so the bans just started out. Team Solo is going to be banning first. Team Solo will be on blue side this time as the standard where we just swap sides after game 1. Out of curiosity, what's our rules on side pickings for game 3? I think that's going to be a Yuumi coming out of Team Solo, so they really don't want to see that Yuumi. I don't really blame them because when Yuumi is played to actual perfection in team play, she's one of the hardest characters in this game to stop. And if they have information that Predictive Gaming knows how to run it, I would definitely advise for that ban. Predictive Gaming still doesn't want to see that Galileo. They're just, no Galileo old cross map nonsense here. Wow, looks like Team Solo is not going to change bans up at all.
I don't know how I feel about that. I still feel like getting rid of the Hecarim, getting rid of other things would have been really nice.
Mm-hmm. Especially since they're on blue side, so they're so scared of Yuumi and Senna, they can threaten to pick it themselves.
So I see them take away the Graves pick, but I don't really feel like the Graves pick was like the reason. See, and they get their Hecarim back. You know, like Predictive Gaming at this point, like what reason do they have to not run back that mid jungle synergy though, right?
Now the real question is, are we going to see a complete repeat of the previous combo?
Not because
I don't imagine
Graves
they picked on this early though. Well, Graves wasn't exactly an instrumental reason why it worked. It's definitely replaceable. Ooh, Hecarim Lewis, some amazing synergy there. Something I've always wanted to see for ages, and I know it's not going to happen, is do you know about Lulu mid top of Halo Blade?
Wait, what?
Lulu mid top with Halo Blades.
Okay, I was confused since you said mid and top at the same time. I was like, I haven't heard
it's
of
because
when
you
you're
can
playing
take
both. But then I'm like, oh wait, no, or okay. You know, I've always thought of stuff like that. I love on hit characters. I just don't think that they have like a lot of synergy and more like obviously like
Oh, you still actually go AP support items. It's basically
just
the
for the brass.
yeah, the Halo Blades kind of allows you to win lane phase in the early few levels because there's
Mhm.
actually a lot of extra damage. Team Solo revealing the Mordekaiser really, really early here, and Predictive Gaming showed that the Hecarim doesn't go top lane. It's actually going to be a
Oh,
jungler.
I just realized like he did get his
Wait,
twisted
are
fate.
they're revealing all solo laners this early? This
Well,
is actually this is
No,
disaster already.
I disagree with that. I think the Mordekaiser early. I do agree it's questionable because at this point they kind of know exactly what the comp's going. But I think the Twisted Fate on Blue 3 is actually really good because I think when mid lane goes as awfully as it did, like in the previous game, I think that giving your what people might consider like one of their better players, or at least the mid laner who has like a lot of control over the game and had like a kind of a poor performance, including like his jungler, like in the previous game, I think throwing him on his main, especially as a strong pick as TF, is just the go-to idea. I think at that point it's not a question. I do think showing Mordekaiser early though was kind of a bit
think
questionable.
this is a complete mistake. What Predictive Gaming showed us in the first draft and how they're able to punish these type of decisions, I don't think Team Solo is going to come out of draft with a single winning lane.
It depends honestly, because Mordekaiser Renekton, as far as I know, is just that's a skill matchup, right?
Renekton wins it. But he does eventually get outscaled. But
See,
Renekton can actually just outsplit push if he goes to more damage focus.
Blade of the King.
Yeah.
Rush build, yeah. See, I mean, I always assume like Renekton wins early because like that's pretty much like for the longest time like the top lane bar was like the Renekton bar, but like I feel like
Twisted Fate's gonna Syndra left on banned, and now Twisted Fate and Syndra is not gonna be fun. Then you had the Hecarim Luba. Well, Team Cell is just out. This is even worse than the first draft.
I'm still not sure about it. I have to see the bot lane picks. I personally still like Team Solo Chill's draft a lot more than I did the previous draft, at least, because to me there's a lot more comfort that I can see here. And then not only that, but there's also like a lot less of a ticking time bomb. Their previous comp, like literally, like everyone in the world knew exactly what they wanted to do mid, and so Hecarim was just able to literally do whatever he wanted. But then now that you have like a more of a hard farming jungler in Graves, and then you've got like Twisted Fate who can facilitate things around the map, like even if the Renekton like kind of wins the lane early, if Twisted Fate gets like a good roam off into from a Mordekaiser ult or even just the E, like it becomes like harder on Renekton, even though he's like a generally very safe pick with like Dominus. But I think like putting your the jungler who kind of also underperformed the previous game on a pick like Graves is also really good because it's another jungler that's like a hard farming jungler that doesn't really ask too much of the player itself, and like I think it really allows for like a reset of mental. I think honestly, personally, I think their comp is fine, but like it really depends on if they're able to execute at these dragon fights and like trying to like control the lane a bit. I don't know how I feel about the Vayne pick, though.
It'll be rough for lane, but really profitable for mid game.
I just think they have a lot of things that can shut down the Vayne or force the Vayne to build like different items. Because Vayne's got to watch out for the Xayah feathers. She's got to watch out for all the Liano combos, even just like a flash Q.
I'm not a fan.
You've got a point and click like CC from like Twisted Fate. I think they were so focused on banning out the pick from Team Solo Chill from getting Ezreal. Like I would have liked to see in Ezreal on like R3. I think like for example, since they had already shown Mordekaiser, that I don't I don't think that they really needed to basically like pick their top laner yet. I think they could have saved it like for later and then like gotten themselves more priority AD carry. I really don't like the Vayne into this comp. I don't think Vayne could be played well again because there's always like the skill check where like Vayne can just outplay the competition regardless of comp in a way. Just basically if like the CC isn't played right. But to me, there's just so many things that she has to focus on, and like even just a smoke screen is detrimental because then she's not going to see like the Mordekaiser E, the like the Mord R in general is going to force her into a QSS. She might have to take cleanse. If I was her, I would have to take cleanse in lane, which also like kind of mitigates a bit of your like summoners in the bot lane, because if you don't, then like Twisted Fate and Leona can just jump on you. And if Vayne takes cleanse, then like Leona and Xayah can just jump on Lulu like all lane phase, and they can just decide to kill Lulu over and over and over again. I think a lot of this really depends on like how much Syndra can keep lane priority and prevent the Twisted Fate roams. But like all in all, like their team fight comp isn't nearly as good unless the Vayne pops off. I don't think. I really do like Team Solo Chill's draft. It screams comfort to me. But again, like skill always comes into a play, and I think this is more of a from draft alone. I don't really see like a clear winner on my end. I don't think. But I do think that predictive gaming has like lane priority. Yeah, that's fine. I was talking a lot.
Yeah, no, that's all good. I was just saying, I don't think I've actually ever seen JC get to play TF and BTL. I think just because like everyone like looked at his champion, he was always like one of the higher ranked people on his team, and he's like 90% of his solo queue games are like Twisted Fate. So, and he has like he like wears the TF like
club tag,
club tag with pride. Yeah.
That's why maybe that I'm just like super biased towards the comp. I'm like, dude, he has a TF club tag and he got his TF. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I
like
can see a win coming out from that alone.
He has 270 games on TF in solo queue and 47 on his next most played. So it's quite the one trick.
And I just still would have liked to see different bands, because it's mainly not that many different bands. I think that I would like to see what kind of jungler Sly Red Fox is off of his Hecarim.
I see what you mean. I'm surprised. I felt like the Twisted Fate pick could have been punished more than with the Syndra. I mean, Syndra still is like it's not bad punished, but
it probably depends on Jaw's champion pool. I'm not really sure about the champion pool, but fair. Like, for example, like he totally would have went LeBlanc. If he doesn't have Yasuo, like he obviously wasn't comfortable doing that. I don't think their comp obviously would. Right. Well, their comp would have actually been pretty okay with Yasuo, but again, it depends on the competency of like the Yasuo players. Because I know a lot of really good mid laners who like, they just play Yasuo and they run it down. Like it's like part of the mindset. Like it's a hidden passive.
Oh, I didn't even realize the fact that everyone else on Team Solo Chill has the Team Solo Chill tag, and then JC just still has TF.
It's priorities, man. It's priorities. You put almost 300 games of TF in ranked in like a single season. Like you just gotta wear it with pride.
Exactly. So let's see if JC can hold on to. I guess we would have to. I mean, he's probably best TF BTL, but can he prove it? Like, let's see the TF gameplay from the resident TF master.
I think a lot of this, like as long as Team Solo Chill, basically kind of just stabilizes into the mid game. I still think that their comp looks pretty good. I think like with the exception of kind of Hecarim late and like Vayne though, because obviously Vayne is just a monster late game if she's able to actually do her damage. I don't think that Team Solo Chill gets like outscaled like they did last game. Like last game, it was an obvious outscale because Mordekaiser will outscale Renekton. I think Graves, like especially with like Black Cleaver and a Xayah just pumping damage, can definitely handle like a Hecarim. Syndra is really good, and depending on if she can get a long range stun, and she can generally always one shot somebody who doesn't itemize against her, sure. But TF has like obviously better split push. If you got like them doing like a 1-3-1 later, so you've got like the Leona, Xayah, Graves in the mid lane, and then you've got the Mordekaiser and TF like splitting pressure, and then deep vision. To me, I really like that comp because Mordekaiser can actually and TF can actually force predictive gaming into a lot more situations than like the previous game. Like the previous game, like there was nothing I feel like Team Solo Chill could force them into if literally mid and jungle didn't do that. My mic's still on, right? I can hear people.
Yes, hello.
Okay.
Just fixing some settings.
Okay, because I had some technical difficulties where I thought I had my headset charging earlier and it was unplugged. So I had to plug it in just now and keep it going. So I wanted to make sure I could still hear people, that was still a go.
I got you. Do we the contest is the contest still going or am I can I type?
Yeah.
Okay, we still have another 3 minutes and 5 seconds left on that contest. So if you guys want to do exclamation point PG, oh wait, actually no, exclamation point bet, and then either PG or TSC for which team you think is going to win. Right now, the betting is looking pretty even. I think it's like 50-50 split so far. So
Doesn't that just go to show you like kind of how bad Team Solo Chill's like team comp was last game? Because I thought it was something that like I didn't know of, like from being like newer to the scene. Like I was like, do people just know how like dominant predictive gaming is or something? Because like that was so one-sided. And then you go into this game and you're like, oh, it's close to 50-50. I'm like, yeah, I think that just goes to show like people were like, man, this team comp is a little bit questionable. I think, like the problem is it was just so hard to execute.
Team Solo bad. I'm getting on one trick. I'm betting on one trick and Laura Sinji. Okay.
Everyone throw the bet on the one trick. I feel that. They were really just hoping to get like, oh, no one's gonna bet on Team Solo Chill. I want to get all the points.
Right.
Everyone thought that at the same time, right?
I'm voting on Team Solo Chill because I believe them.
Dude, I am
what?
Because I believe in Team Solo Chill.
Oh,
Better
I love
draft.
to hear it. I love to hear it.
Supporting.
Dude, do junglers not take flash?
No.
No, Graves doesn't.
Graves actually doesn't have to take flash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's actually
Yeah.
kind of new lately. A lot of junglers, I mean, not a lot of junglers, a lot of Graves players have been experimenting with Phase Rush, Smite, Ignite. And when you take away Nimbus Cloak, you actually just get a lot of movement speed. The other thing that you really get out of it is the enemy jungler has to basically spend the entire early game terrified of it, which is actually a really good way to punish the Hecarim, because there's actually a lot of teams who are really desperate to make Hecarim work because it's a really fun, interesting character. I see a lot of people try it out in scrims, but then they come into this issue just about every single time where the person who is against Hecarim just picks all off and says, yo, I'll meet you at bout side, how about that? And then he gets solo killed.
I mean, see, that's why I really liked this comp. I wasn't gonna put much stock into the Ignite Graves just because like I wasn't sure how safe they wanted to play after like the previous game. You know, like because I wasn't sure exactly like where the mentals were at the time. But I do like to see it because especially like with a TF who can just ghost in and then like yellow card the no flash Hecarim. Like the fact that Hecarim also has no flash into an Ignite Graves with like a TF in the mid lane is terrifying. Let's.
Did Hecarim players start doing that because of the ghost buffs? Or is this
I could see that. It's a lot of extra AD and burst.
Because in my opinion, Ghost loses a lot of value when you're not going for the Predator build, and I feel like when you're going for the Conqueror, you just get so much more profit out of the Ignite, and I feel that the movement speed you really get out of Ghost isn't really worth it. It doesn't ramp your damage up by too much, and overall, just like he's not going to be able to really duel anybody come the mid to the late game, or even in the early game. Like Ignite is really important to the part of his kit.
The one thing I like about Ghost personally is what I used to use it for when I used to do a lot of Hecarim jungle, because like back in I think season 3, like I was the weirdo who like my 2 jungle mains were Hecarim and Nautilus, so I was like the only person playing these champions like every single freaking game. And the reason I liked Ghost like even back then personally was because with counter ganks it's very nice. Like you activate the Ghost a little bit early. You don't always get the full value on the AD, but like the second you see a fight happen, if you start that Ghost and then just start running towards the team fight a little bit early, it does feel really good.
See, but is feels good gonna equate to effective? Let's see what happens.
It does for counter ganks, but I completely agree with you. Like in this matchup against a Graves, and especially if there's like a TF,
it's also taking the Ignite.
Yeah, I would never take Ghost in this matchup. Like there's just some matchups you don't do it. Like for example, against the Jarvan, I wouldn't do it because like I need to flash out a Cataclysm. Oh, we got the early aggressiveness happening down here in the bot lane.
What I would like to know is what's up with these 80 heal.
What's up with ADC doing what?
Not taking heal, because that happened.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
yesterday's
yesterday,
game as
yeah.
That's
well.
just kind of norm.
Yeah,
Heal just
exhaust.
like other summer
Yeah.
spells have been buffed, and with the introduction to Nimbus Poke, it actually opens up the meta quite a lot. You know, just gonna go for the casual EQ here, but fortunately, not a lot of early game damage coming to make it turn into anything. Vayne is just gonna be able to Q away. But yeah, going back to
Mordekaiser
the
seems to be dictating the top lane, actually. I don't... But see, we got Hecarim coming in for like maybe a cheeky little gank. That's a lot of damage coming out in a flash burn. A Mordekaiser who loses his flash early basically just has to seed the whole lane to Renekton, though. So even though he was getting advantages in the lane, like the fact that he still played it a little bit too far up early really, really hurt him. And then Graves is also caught, is actually seen coming topside, so he's not really gonna get much out of this.
Makes me wondered if the Renekton to a certain point was just allowing himself to get a little bit beat up on purpose, not like take skill shots on purpose, but more so just willing to sacrifice lane advantage and just do the smarter thing and say, you know, I could maybe kill this top laner in the early game. Maybe I could outplay him in the early game, but it's just so much safer to wait for my jungler to come. All I need to do is wait like 20 more seconds, my jungler will be here, it'll be a-okay. And if that's the case, I actually really respect that, because in team play and in Soaking, nothing is more tilting than just being a couple seconds away from your laner, but they can't be patient, right? They can't just wait just 2 seconds, and then bad stuff happens.
Oh, see, yeah, no, see, just watching this right now, I think this guy is just like, I don't know if he's like a Mord one trick, but like he definitely has his Mord mechanics down, and he's just taking the lane to him. One thing that I really like to see from Team Solo Chill though is that, as you noticed, the bot side getting lane priority. They definitely helped Graves to actually double scuttle and continue his like CS lead that he can easily accrue over Hecarim early game, and I think that's really important to do early on, especially after like the type of game that happened in the previous game. Is you really like, instead of like trying to force your jungler into helping you just start facilitating your jungler, because all that allows is for you to have an easier time, because then your jungler can actually affect the map and then kind of like untilt himself in the previous game.
It's definitely a more slow tempo game. We're not seeing as much action we were as the last game, but I really actually think that plays to the benefit of both teams.
Well, I like this Graves roam right here, because like this. Yeah, there goes the flash. I would have liked to see a little bit more patience from Graves, because I think if Graves had a little bit more patience, they could have done an easy dive like with Ignite E into like some kind of like thing from Mordekaiser. I really do think they could have gotten a kill there.
It goes in for the ear. Fane once again just gonna Q away. Not really gonna equate much twice.
I do definitely agree with the fact that Vayne took the cleanse here. I think the game is almost impossible for Vayne to play the game if she didn't take cleanse.
I also want to compliment Renekton for earlier. Is he most likely could have gotten that kill in the first game if he just flashed, but the thing is, a lot of times, even if it's first blood, it's just generally not worth it, because sure, you flash to get a kill, but then now the enemy.
He's easily out. He's easily out. The second he dodged Syndra's E though, it was so easy for him to get out, and that's why I liked this matchup personally. Was that I feel like there's so much onus on like the Syndra basically outplaying the TF when he's already like a very fast, like heavy pushing champion early game. It doesn't allow like as much setup as like, for example, the LeBlanc could or some other mid laners. One thing I would have liked to, but we see JC play a little bit too greedy. Nobody expects the return gank within 10 seconds.
Yeah, within 10 seconds, yeah. Just a loop-de-loop.
Question mark, he's going over this jungler right now, probably.
With the way the lane was pushing it, he just kind of really greeted for that extra wave. I wish he just kind of backed and then like grabbed his catalyst and just chilled and walked back mid and just saw the minions like that were still left as a little bit of a loss. It's kind of disappointing that he managed to die there. Especially after outplaying the other gank and wasting Hecarim's time.
Yeah, he played that first gank so well.
And then after that first game as well, like I would just expect like Hecarim to be mid all game, like all game long.
It's also really easy, good game setup. So one thing that I really like coming out of the red side is in both games they really displayed to find really unique combination to just synergize mid and jungle, and I'm looking forward to see that in their future games, and I hope they can continue this pattern of this proper mid jungle synergy, get the gank set up, and just have the mid lane turn his lanes into something more explosive. Blue side
I
is
do
gonna
like
get
Team
the first
Solo
dragon here.
Chill actually
And it's like
realizing
a
that there's
really
like a
nice-
free dragon. Like, it's good timing. It's because they had vision on Hecarim backing, so they knew that he was going to recall. And it's interesting to see Mord kind of just die almost for the
He
chickens.
just has no reason to be here.
Yeah, it's really deep.
And that's just gonna toss them to an easy kill. Hecarim can just ghost away. I think they're actually gonna continue this fight here, and they actually can. It's gonna be a 3-2.
Damn.
Ooh, Hecarim coming out with a bit of his life, but Renekton still has to heal. Syndra W goes wide.
Oh my
Kills
god!
his teammate by missing. I don't know what he was aiming at. What? That was almost a tragic misplay.
It's actually really sad because I.
Oh,
I
they're
do
gonna
like
go
the
in
team comp a
again?
lot. I just.
What are you doing?
No, TF is also TPing mid. Oh,
Oh,
He had to
TF
zoom
should
away
just
from the
say,
gank.
thank you, Hecarim, for missing.
Oh,
And that
Lord.
wait. This is just full mental, dude. And then
Yeah,
they're still dealing with, and while Renekton's gonna fall off, they're gonna deal with this Fame of Cleanse and probably Nimbus Cloak. Can we get a rune check? Is Vayne running Nimbus Cloak?
How would we even? Can you see?
What you would do is you click on the character really briefly, and I think you can see the runes for that one.
I don't see
But yeah.
it on the character thing. Maybe if I expand it one second.
Because for the most part, while Blue
Yes,
Side
Vayne
does have
is
a lot
running
of
Nimbus
TP,
Cloak. I found it.
yeah, this is gonna be a really hard Vayne to hit late game. So they lost the early game because of the amazing setup that Renekton and Syndra can provide. Syndra is just gonna be all around good at all parts of the game, and as we saw yesterday, Mordekaiser players do not like Vayne players. Ito was there.
I do think that this team
Can
though,
you?
has a lot more
What does
options.
Mordekaiser's ultimate count as? Can you cleanse it or do you have to QSS it?
You have to QSS it. It's kind of
Okay,
like a
so
mini
it's
suppressed.
like a suppressor or something. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. But
But I
in
mean,
all
like-
honesty, Vayne doesn't even need by QSS because she'll just murder Mordekaiser in his own death realm.
Well, I don't think it'll happen quite like that. I definitely think the QSS would still be a good buy late, just because there is a Leona and a TF. There is, like, if you look at the team comps from the two different teams, oh, this is actually a really good setup. See, this is the setup that I was looking forward to in Champion Select, but the very questionable E by Mordekaiser, he should have definitely been prepared for, like, the Renekton to, like, escape, but instead he just kind of wanted him to get closer instead, and, like you said earlier, a lot of this just seems like it comes down to mental boom and a bit of greed is honestly what I'd sum this down to. I do think Team Solo Chill is able to look better, especially in the future. All they have to do is like watch the replays and then realize like that, especially like during this game, like their game plan and like I feel like their champion select was fine, but then like a lot of it came down to greed. Like most of the gold lead that Predictive Gaming has now was from Mordekaiser trying to like steal their like Raptors right after JC wanted to like extra push like a few casters after previously being ganked and knowing their jungle was still like around mid. So I just hope they can stabilize this a bit more. They really need to like start opening it up, and I would recommend them to play around their bot side.
A little bit of scuffle right here. Hecarim looks like might actually save Syndra's life here. No, Syndra is going to be focused
Oh,
out.
that was a great
Hecarim going
E
in,
by-
going to 1v3. Lulu coming up for the save, but looks like it's just going to be equipped to about nothing. Gonna walk away here. Unfortunate shutdown coming from Syndra with the 150 bounty, but it is only 150. That's just roughly a cannon minion and a half. So
Even though I said
Syndra in her own
previously-
weird way should be saying thank you to the enemy team for shutting down my bounty before it got too big.
I mean, I could see that. Even though I previously said that I would like to see them like play around like bot side, I do think a TF gank top would definitely. Oh, it'd be so massive right now. Does he see? If, I wish they were
chase down TF here. Probably gonna go down here, especially.
TF should be able to get out. TF should be able to get out.
Ooh, misses the Q. Would have been a kill.
I think that TF would have been able to flash it, but he has been a little bit greedy this game, so I'm not going to put all my stock in that statement. I see Hecarim starting off the drag right now, but the problem is that there's no like TP and there's no like real map pressure from TF, so they're unable to really contest this, especially with the fact that Graves has Ignite instead of Flash.
Unfortunately, they're getting the lesser prize here because the first dragon was a red, and one dragon blue is kind of probably the most worthless dragon in the game. You can divide dragons up into 3 categories: souls, stacking, and singles. And single blue is probably the most.
Oof, that was really rough from the Leona. I don't really foresee them getting too much out of this.
Vayne actually might be able to run down here. She has Lou buffing him up. Lou, if she has to Vayne, if she has the mechanics to just dodge out most of her stuff. Nah, just basically run the guard.
Oh, did we lose someone?
Oh, Phantom. Oh, well, I guess I can talk more. I don't know what happened.
So what do you think that Team Solo Chill should do to try to like even out this game and stabilize it a bit?
Huh. That's a great question. Where are they still? Where do they still have? I mean, they're not down a lot of gold still. I think TF is still very much so in this game. I think Zaya's still in this game. I think Zaya in team fights is still going to be really strong if she goes into this game. She's a really good champion against Syndra because Syndra shouldn't be able to just delete her, in theory, right? Because as long as she has her ultimate up. And I think late game Mordekai's will be more will scale harder than the. I mean, Mordekai's is just beating up. I mean, forget scaling. I mean, right now. I mean, right now. Okay, never mind.
That was so massive. That was so massive.
Yeah.
He got the shutdown gold and everything.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back. Connections fixed. What I missed?
Welcome back. You missed Mordekai's. You're getting a fat shutdown on Renekton, which actually is really good because you could lead into an early Herald, especially with the fact with the way that Hecarim is pathing right now.
So I think they're doing exactly what they need to do to get back into this game. I think scaling, they still have something on their side, and I think on the top side of the map, they can really make something happen.
I think a lot of it too is really dependent on actually like as where's the sound is Leona, because I've seen quite a few mechanical misplays from that champion this game. It started off kind of okay, but then I started seeing some ults being slightly off here and there, and then I started seeing some like stunning of minions and whatnot. So if Leona can really like dial it in, I think if they hard focus Lulu over Vayne, they can definitely start getting some kills.
Ooh, is Renekton gonna be able to just outright so Renekton? Oh, Graves misses everything with.
Yeah, but I think at that point he really only kind of ulted to get out, and it just goes to show you the power of like phase rush Graves, because you're allowed to make like mistakes like that, or even just mispositioning, and you're able to like still get out just because like once he had the phase rush, like Renekton couldn't do anything. This leads to an easy first brick though for Predictive Gaming, especially because nobody was really ready to contest this. Even though earlier I said they should probably play through their bot side, I think that the nice thing I saw from Blakey so far is that he's really content at just scaling up regardless of how like the lane state is. So I think that they don't really have to focus them. At this point though, I would try to bully this Renekton as much as possible, but it's going to be difficult with the flashback up as well as the Dominus.
What do you feel would be the comeback plan for the side?
I think from Team Solo Chill.
Yeah.
I think they have to play through. I think they have to play through top side. I think they have to play through top side to try to open the top turret up a bit more, which would allow Mordekaiser like easier roams and make sure that Renekton's not safe. And then after they start doing that, I would threaten the TF a lot more on like the cross the map plays and like do, for example, what they're doing now, and like aggressively invading like the top side jungle just to make sure that like Renekton doesn't feel safe. And then once they're able to eventually like open up the mid, oh my god, that's a lot of damage on Xayah. That was a bit too much of a split focus from Team Solo Chill, which led to like a lot of unfortunate team fighting. Leona went a little bit too deep on the wrong champ. They went downwards to fight some. They went downwards to fight, I believe Syndra it was, but it seemed like Graves and Leona weren't really on the same page. Therefore, they got caught out by Vayne, able to just kind of run it down and take what she wanted. That's what I like to see when you got your mid laner playing in between the two mid lane turrets, all the way by the inner with both of them still up.
It really
That's the
feels
kind of
good.
confidence you want to see. John maybe still thinking he's playing on LeBlanc. But like overall, I'm really liking the stability and the aggressiveness I see from Predictive Gaming. But I do feel like I'm not sure how much of it is coming from like their own proactive plays, whether it coming more from the over aggression and like the slight mechanical misplays and like the undirected calls I've seen more from Team Solo Chill. I think like if anything, that's what they've got to work on, and like making sure to get like a better draft. I'm wondering if like if game one is kind of like leering a little bit too heavy on these guys.
I don't think it's too much of that. I think it's blue side plays very impatient. It feels like they don't even try to track where Hecarim is. And when you do most of the replays, red side has basically been playing nothing but punish. They see a mistake, they go and see a mistake, they go and it's less so proactivity and just more so you made a mistake and we're gonna punish.
I mean that's why I kind of liked the early ghost by Hecarim. I would need to watch the replays to see when he ghosted. He probably just did it mostly for extra damage, is what I generally expect. But I do think that it probably helped with all the counter gank stuff, like the over aggression. See, this is exactly what I wanted to see, them punishing the Renekton. But that was a fantastic turn.
Oh, focus wrong tower there.
Yeah.
When you're being tower dive, a really important mechanic to do is actually focus which champion has the tower aggro there, because he was just focusing all his DPS on the Graves, and little he didn't notice is that the tower was just only hitting TF. So it was more, he had a tower, but he wasn't playing with the tower. That's actually a really important mechanic for higher EO players to be tower dive. If he was aiming for the TF there, it would have been a different story.
But I think I agree, but I'm not sure if he would have been able to actually reach the TF as well.
Oh, 100% would have.
I think that he probably just went for the guy who didn't have like flash. But regardless, you know, it's really hard to come out of those 2v1s. Vayne out here feeling very confident in this matchup. Ooh, and we've got another team fight coming in hot. TF with the over-aggressive placement yet again. Like, Hecarim just getting to play whatever game he wants, and when Hecarim's able to play whatever game he wants, Vayne can just press whatever button she wants as well. But this is why I feel like Vayne, to me, personally, is more of like a BM pick. Vayne just says, I think my team is better than your team, usually, or at least I am better than you, and I will basically be able to outplay like your skill shots, and I'll be able to outplay like your plan of attack. I still don't really like it too much into this team comp, but again, it's hard to argue really with results. The gold lead is now 6,000, and there's only like, to equal it up, there's about like a 2 turret difference, which is on the map. So there's still like a 4,000 gold lead in just like kills and outplays alone. What's very unfortunate too is the way the kills have been like divvied up. With the exception of Vayne, there's not really any big shutdowns that Team Solo Chill can really lean on. And then once Vayne finishes the QSS, I'm not really sure that they can do anything to that comp anymore. Just from like the sake of being too far behind.
Another thing that's actually kind of concerning for Mordekaiser is while Mordekaiser can even up the matchup later stages of the game, is the Redactin already has his Bladed of Ripcane, which in its own weird way counters the health build that Mordekaiser is going for here. And he has his MR, he has a little bit of magic resist, he has a little bit of health. I don't really think we're going to see the full effect of when Mordekaiser is going to be able to outright duel Renekton here. And then also Renekton's actually going to be a little bit more useful here because he can just walk up to any carry on the enemy team and just stun them.
Yeah, I think a lot of at this point though, the only reason why like Renekton is going to definitely feel like stronger is really just because Team Solo Chill is just so far behind like in the items and the power spikes that they want that it makes Renekton just feel a lot stronger than he normally is. Because right now he's like a beefy stun bot who can actually like get his press the attack and like incentivize other damage. But any second that's not being spent on this Vayne, it's just going to be a big fat win for Predictive Gaming. But I mean, at this point, it's just hard. Like, sure, you focus the Blade of the Ruined King Renekton, right? You get him dead, then you still got a Trinity Force Hecarim. Well, let's say you both manage to get them dead. You still have a Syndra and then like a 3-0 Vayne.
This is what you get naturally out of a good, well-rounded comp. You just have damage across the board. You have people who fulfill their jobs. Just really doing what this what the comp is. Ally each other up, team fight, split push. They really got it all right now. And with how behind blue side is right now, this game should be wrapping up shortly. While one can just say just freeze lanes and scale, the thing is that the scaling is kind of evened out here between the Lulu Vayne, and even if you manage to get on top of the Vayne, it's gonna have tons. She's probably gonna turn this cloak into a QSS, and then she still has Lulu, Syndra, and Renekton to peel off for her. So really lack of answers to actually contain here.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to some of the mechanical misplays that happened in like the greediness during the Raptor fight. You know, generally I didn't think we'd talk about like Raptors as if they were an objective, but obviously there's a different priority that was focused on one team for the value over the large Raptor than the other. And then also like the bot lane play when they were finally able to like try to get on Vayne. I saw like multiple like positional mistakes and then like mechanical mistakes that allowed like Lulu and Vayne to like basically get away for free, even though Vayne had her cleanse down. And I think that like basically they kind of just like sums up this game is like mechanical mistakes and like great punishing by predictive gaming, which is I guess they're just living up to their moniker, right? They've seen like these aggressive moves like 3 minutes ahead each time, and this Hecarim has always been in the right place.
I really going to divide up resources here. We're saying we're going to send Renekton to the bot lane, force you to divide up your team. If you don't stop Renekton, you're just going to get all your bot lane towers. And meanwhile, we have people in your top side to finish the top side towers. A lot of times when you see, Renekton going to step it out, but your Comet is down. Blade of Ruined King activated. No more cleanse. Oh, Renekton is probably. Thank goodness for the short cooldown buffs on TF. You really see this come into place.
I was about to be like,
To be fair though, I think Renekton still could have had it. I feel like he was just kind of like, as weird as it is to say, because like the move itself would have been greedy, is I think he was greedy with his Dominus cooldown. I think if he used Dominus and made sure they had Rage and the magic damage ticking, and then made sure to like flash and then keep ahead of the TF, I think he actually could have managed to secure the kill there.
Top lane minions pushing in. Renekton still has heavy pressure on his TF in the bot side. TF right now is actually not bad. While his ult is long range, it's actually not as long as you think it is. So TF is in no position to actually come help out his team here, being really distracted up by the Renekton. Really well executed 4-0-1 formation on red side.
Yeah, again, like this is that for me, I guess it's like more of the greedy play. But like when you're 3-12, like go big, go home. Start getting these kills, kill TF, teleport in, run it down mid. You know, show me the Dominus, right? Like I don't play Renekton for like a safe lane phase and hard 2v1s. I play him for lavish brutality. You know?
Oh, there it is. Here it is.
Here it is. You wanted it. You wanted it. And
I don't get it. And I don't get it.
But we do get a Vayne popping off.
Yep, see? There's no actual answers on how to kill this Vayne.
The thing is, though, is I feel like they could have had answers, but I feel like the misplays just happened like too hard early game, and then it's so free. It's just so free. But Predictive Gaming coming out looking extremely dominant. So far, this is 2 extremely dominating games by both like Predictive Gaming and Ape Chimps, if I believe correctly, right?
Yes, yeah, it was Ape Chimps. Yes, correct.
All right, so like, it'd be interesting whenever those 2 teams match up, because I could see, for example, like the fact that they can actually like steal picks from each other definitely opens up the draft for like the different sides more often, because like you can steal an early Vayne pick, you know, and like try to definitely like do the matchup. But that's a matchup I'm looking forward to, considering how dominant both teams were. I still think that Team Solo Chill shows like a certain kind of promise, because I feel like they have interesting drafts. Like they're obviously creative, is like I guess like like a nice term of saying it, considering draft 1. But I think that having like a creative draft like that and being willing to play like interesting champions, like sure they kind of looked like they went for more comfort this game, but I feel like their game plan all in all wasn't really that bad. I think that they just need to tighten up like a few things, like a few mechanical things. Like in my opinion, Graves might have wasted a little bit too much time like early game, like with some of his pathing. Like I think he could have been a little bit more ahead with farming. And then other than that, if they cleaned up some of their mechanics, I think that like a lot of the early plays would have gone better. And they just need to not greed as much, especially after having such like an unstable early game in the first game.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Look at the Damus charts, Vayne popping off, followed by Syndra, followed by Twisted Fate. TF. I mean, JC did still perform pretty well on his TF given the circumstances. So I think I think he still deserves to have his TF tag there. But yeah, very well played by the Predictive Gaming squad. Up next, coming up at 9 p.m. EST. So I believe we'll take about since that only went 2 games, we'll take about an hour and a half break, hour and 20 minutes until that next game starts. On that next game, we will be having. I know one of them is Dirt. Yeah, that'll be Dirt Team versus Dinosaur Club. That'll be. Wait, is Pixel still in call?
Hi.
Yeah, that'll be Pixel's team. Pixel's team will be making their debut. That is Dirt Team versus Dinosaur Club, which is Coach Kirk's team. Also newcomers to the BTL. Dinosaur Team is completely new. Pixel, of course, has been around for a while now. Now recently promoted to a head staff member. Congratulations to Pixel. As in, was finally willing to accept that she should be a head staff member, essentially. And yeah, we'll be back in about an hour and 20 minutes. We can either I'll let our broadcaster decide if we're going to keep the stream up with some music, or if we're just going to bring the stream back up in about an hour's time. Okay, so yeah, we'll bring the stream back up in about an hour's time. So be sure to tune back in. We'll post it that we are live and all that stuff to see Dirt Team versus the Dinosaur Club.